I had this date coming over and I told her that I would cook anything that she wanted. I thought she was gonna ask for something like pasta, but she asked for birria tacos. Now I'm Filipino and not Mexican, and I don't have to be Mexican to know that birria tacos ain't a simple cook. But you know, since the Philippines and Mexico are both colonized by the Spanish, I said, "Si, señorita." I searched the internet for the best recipe for birria tacos. Now I end up taking things from Vice's recipe as well as the Mob Kitchen's recipe, and there were 3 things in common. The first was the guajillo chili, and then the morita chili, and the ancho chilies. You then had to destem these before you start them to boil. Some recipes told me to take the seeds out, but I'm gonna keep the seeds in because it's a bit more authentic that way and spicier. You then soak these in boiling water for around 10 minutes until they sit soft. Like I said, I'm gonna keep as much seeds in. As that was boiling, I also decided to boil tomato for the consomme. The consomme being the sauce for the birria tacos that this will soak in. The other ingredients for the consomme was whole cloves, some oregano, black peppercorns, and some cumin seeds. Also include an onion and a whole clove of garlic, so chop those up. Also 3 leaves of bay leaves. Once the chili's done, put them into a blender. Have some of the water in there too, just to add a little bit of liquid. Also start to put in the rest of the consomme ingredients, so the tomato, the garlic and the onions. Also put in the oregano as well as the cumin seeds, the bay leaves, the whole cloves and the black peppercorn. Put some salt in to taste. I also put in some white vinegar there like the Vice article, unlike the Mob Kitchen. Once that's done, blend. Blend it until you get this really nice thick red sauce. Once that was done, I then went on to the meat. The Vice article said 1.5 kg of beef short rib, but I went for 750 of beef short rib and 750 grams of brisket. So I chopped these up, ready to salt and put in. I realized I couldn't cut the beef short rib with this knife and I couldn't find a butcher's knife, so I decided to just dash in the whole thing. So in a pot of oil, just sear the meat initially, like so. Once it's seared, so there's some of that beef juice inside, then start to put in the chili mixture. Also add in a little water, just so the meat is covered, ready to broil for a couple of hours. But yeah, so I thought everything was going pretty well. Everything was going according to plan. And that was until I looked at the sauce, and I found it was a little bit too soupy. It was soupy because I put in too much liquid. Just follow the instructions and only fill it up to 3/4 of the meat. To make up for this, I actually made a little bit more chili sauce to thicken it up and just boiled some of the water away. But yeah, so crisis averted, called it a night, and I went to sleep to prepare for the next day. So I left that running for a total of 4 hours before I went to sleep and turned it off. The next day, I cooked it for another hour before I took it out. And the meat was looking juicy. Look at that. Look how clean that bone is now. I mean, come on. Let's just admire this for a couple seconds. I surprised myself. The next step is to take the meat and start shredding it. Shred it with 2 forks, like so. I think this is how you do it anyway. Once that was all shredded, I topped it up with a little bit more consomme just to make it a little bit more juicy. I also decided to make some salsa that we could put on the tacos. You know, just your standard salsa recipe which you can find online. Okay, so we're gonna have a little taste test with the beef and the consomme with the salsa inside. Hopefully it tastes good. Okay. The chili sauce, really good. There's a kick to it, but it actually isn't overly spicy. It's a nice spice, and the beef was so much better than I expected to. Slightly salty, but Maybe we can fix that, or it's fine, because they did say generously add some salt. But yeah, surprised myself. This isn't too bad. This isn't too bad. But yeah, so after that initial taste, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was feeling on top of the world because I can't believe that I pulled this off. And that wasn't until I received a text that she was on her way. So I basically prepared the table and we had our tacos. So for the dinner, I set up a portable stove Korean barbecue style, just so it's a little bit more hands-on. So to prepare the tacos, I used a corn tortilla. Definitely prefer that over the flour. And then you dip that tortilla into the consomme and then put it into pan and fry both sides. This is where you can add any cheese you want that can melt. I used this spicy cheese. Oh, you took some out because it's lactose. Put in the meat and be generous with it depending on how you want it. Not too much so you can fold it. And yeah, then you just fold it like that and fry it until it's nice and brown. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the cooking. So we made a couple of these in one go. And then you can start to add things like salsa or guacamole. She even added cream cheese that she brought along. Look at that. Oh, nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Birria tacos. So yeah, I think that was a success. Not bad for a first time. This is us dipping it, so don't be afraid to get messy. Cheeky little toast, and yeah, good to eat. But yeah, all in all, I think it went really well. The recipe was good, the food turned out good, and I think I convinced her that I could cook birria tacos. So good, in fact, I think she thinks that I'm Mexican.